Let's bring you the latest on the Matric exams, which kicked off yesterday across the country. Over 800,000 candidates sat for their English and Afrikaans papers. In KwaZulu-Natal, despite some challenges posed by inclement weather and infrastructure issues, thousands of pupils across the province wrote their first paper. But let's take a closer look at how day one unfolded in the province. For that, we're joined by the Education MEC for KZN, Mr. Sipho Hlomuka. Mr. Hlomuka, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. These weather warnings obviously coming in this morning, very concerning as to how our learners are faring. But how would you describe day one of our Matric exams and concerns perhaps that you may have for today?
Good morning to yourself and morning to the viewers. I must indicate that yesterday all Matric candidates, they have given opportunity, they have written their first paper and they were very happy about that. And I must indicate that there was no incident that was reported that there was disruption of exam processes. We must really appreciate the role of the monitors, the role of the educators, the role of the parents who have been working with us in motivating our learners to ensure that they are ready to write for examinations.
Yeah, what's the target that you've set for yourself? Last year nationally, I think we hit 82.9%. What's the goal that you're giving to our matriculants this year in KZN?
You know, ordinarily when you target 100%, but you know that 100% is the maximum. But our minimum, we want to ensure that we improve our Matric result to at least a minimum of 90%. We must appreciate the role that is played by educators, the official of the Department of Education, for developing the improvement plan, academic improvement plan, which have been implemented by all districts across the province. And in terms of the mid-year results, it has proven that we're going to improve our results, but we want to make sure that we improve the results. And we're not competing with anyone, but we're competing with ourselves. We want to make sure to improve our results. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the areas that the monitors are focusing on? I know that the Basic Education Minister also having talked about various schools across the country that perhaps are concerning where leaking of papers is concerned. So talk to me about how you're managing that in KZN and the data on those numbers of schools that are being monitored.
Well, so far as I indicated, there is no incident that have been reported. There is no cheating that have been reported. However, we've identified a number of hotspots across the province, and we have employed more monitors to ensure that there will be no cheating, because we don't want our learners to pass on the basis of cheating. We want to make sure that our learners, they pass because there have been learning educators. They have tried their level best to teach our learners. And we want to make sure that our learners, they expand knowledge, they have more information, and we have prepared them so that as they go to tertiary, at least they know what they have learned at the high school level.
Okay, I want to look at another issue that is in our schools, perhaps expanding now and not focusing just on matriculants. The Democratic Alliance saying that, releasing a press statement saying that they have written to you, the Education MEC, to ensure that regulations around vendors selling food of any kind should be strengthened at schools. So this is vendors selling at schools. I believe that there were 22 learners in KZN recently hospitalized for suspected food poisoning. Mr. Hlomuka, have you seen the letter from the Democratic Alliance on regulating vendors outside our schools?
I have not yet received the letter from DA, but they don't need to send the letter to me. We need to work together to ensure that we protect our learners. We have each and every school have a school safety framework, and part of it is to ensure there are a number of a discipline that indicated, or focal point that are indicated there. Part of it is to ensure that we regulate, and we are going to also engage all our principals to say, and also SGB to say, let's vet all those that are selling food to our learners, but was not only for Department of Education. We are going to work with community members, we are going to work with municipalities, so that the municipalities will also implement their policies, their bylaws in terms of who qualify to sell food in the street, who qualify to sell food in town or in township. Those need integrated a plan to work together and protect not only our learners, but the people at large, because there are people at the community level who are also buying food that is sold to our learners as they pass by. So it needs to protect our people, including our learners.
Yeah, what's the work that the Department of Education and KZN has done, though, with the Ngaka primary school in Mtubatuba, where those 22 learners had to be admitted into school? What are the steps that you've taken since that took place yesterday?
Well, we're working with all departments. We're also working with the Department of Education to ensure that they assist us. We already engage with district directors to ensure that they must engage principal to enforce school safety plan so that our learners will be protected.
Are those children out of hospital? What's the latest with them, MEC?
From what we have received, there is no learner now that is hospitalized. All of them, they have been released, and we are monitoring the situation.
Okay, I want to look at this other story, and of course we've got the issue of Enkovugeni, the community there really struggling, and just moments ago we spoke to the chairperson of the SGB, Mr. Kuligani Manzini. We're showing visuals of that lake that 30 pupils from the remote village of Enkovugeni in northern KwaZulu-Natal are forced to cross every day to get to school. One of those learners is writing their matric exams as we speak, but they're doing so in a hippo-infested lake. I mean, hippos are incredibly dangerous, Mr. Hlomuka. Talk to me about what happened to the ferry that the Department of Education had provided this community to ferry children to school every morning. Where is the ferry? Why has it not been working for months?
Well, you know that Department of Education, their responsibility is to ensure that they teach the learners. We need to make sure that we are focusing on teaching and learning, but also to create a conducive environment for our educators and for the learners. We are working with various spheres of government, whether it's a national or it's a local government. We've already engaged with also the Department of Transport and the municipality at that district to ensure that let's have an integrated service delivery plan, which will also talk to assisting our learners in a number of areas, including putting a bridge in that area and in other areas. But I must indicate, even those learners coming from that area, yesterday, they've been given opportunity. They're able to be on the exam centers and the road. And we are certain that irrespective of the condition that they're coming from, they are going to pass. But
the issue is not whether or not they're going to pass, Mr. Hlomuka. It's the responsibility that you have as education MEC to ensure.
I already indicated that we are engaging with municipalities, we are engaging with the Department of Transport, we're engaging with national...
Yes, apologies, Mr. Hlomuka, because I need to finish my thought here. You're engaging the Department of Transport, but in 2017, this was a project of the Department of Education, not the Department of Transport. These ferries to help these learners get to Nhlange Secondary School were procured by the Department of Education in 2017 for 4.1 million rand. They haven't been working for months.
No, we are talking about the temporal intervention.
When last did you speak to that school, sir?
No, we're engaging our school every day. Even today, we're engaging with our school to check that they are ready and to check our learners if they are safe, to check educators that are safe, to check our monitors that are safe. We have a responsibility to engage all schools. There's no school that we are not engaging.
When last did you speak to the school governing body of this particular school? So not all school, this particular school that is a special case. I mean, there's 4.1 million rand that was set aside to ferry these children to school by the Department of Education. We saw even during the elections this year, the IEC needing to ferry ballot papers to that community over that lake because it is a special case. So what is the update that you have on when that community and those learners will be able to get to school without being exposed to dangerous hippos?
And you must also listen to me, what I'm saying. I'm saying we are engaging with all schools, including the school that we are referring me to, through our district directors, to engage principal, to engage SGB. Look, there's no MEC that can, we in KwaZulu-Natal, we have 5,870 schools, which are public schools. I don't talk about private schools, I don't talk about special schools. We are saying we are engaging with all our schools, including their schools. We understand their challenges. That's why we've engaged the Department of Transport. That's why we've engaged with the municipality. The intervention that you're talking, it was a temporal intervention, it was a short-term intervention, and we have a mid-term intervention and also a long-term intervention. That's why those learners, they able yesterday to be in the school and they've written their exam.
All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for speaking to us, and we hope that you'll give us an update on this particular school, and I think it's important because it's a special case.
No problem.
Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Our responsibility to account on issues that we are dealing with as a Department of Education.
All right.